Good morning, Henry Hong, Director of Food and Beverage here. We're outside this green space in our neighborhood of Sabina Math Belt, which is in Mount Washington, just in the northern part of Baltimore City. We're lucky enough to have this sort of mini park available to us. Just wanted to kind of give you a couple of tips on foraging. If you can see all these little tiny purple flowers, those are wild violets, sweet violet, which you can preserve the blossoms in making violet syrup. You can also eat the leaves, but we're not here for that. Today we are here for, I don't know if even 4K kind of captures this well, but among the grass you can see some tufts of taller, darker or different shade green grasses, what appear to be grasses at least. And here's a good one right here. This one is characterized by these, as they get mature, they kind of curl up at the end here, but more importantly, the blades themselves are circular, the cross section, as opposed to flat. And this is actually a wild onion. One way to tell is to break open one of the blades and just give it a smell. It should have an oniony aroma. And these things are actually grow all over the place when you're in low-lying areas, especially near a body of water. Here we happen to be, that's the Jones Falls back there. But if you live near a reservoir, anywhere that has kind of a mix of deciduous and pine, really anywhere. I've seen them growing out of the cracks of sidewalks. This stuff is kind of everywhere. This time of year is when you see them, and they're actually really great. So I've already gotten this one started a little bit. I'm gonna finish it up with my trowel here, kind of get around and under it pretty nicely, and just shake it off, kind of break it up a little bit, leave the dirt intact, fill up the hole that we created because dogs and kids and people kind of run around all over this area. So you don't want to leave any sort of dangerous divots in the ground. Always repair your divots. And then you can see, I'll just show you real fast, kind of a close-up. This is what they look like. And they are indeed these teeny tiny little onions. See that? And so preparation wise, actually I found that cooking these really diminishes the flavor of them. These are really nice, just washed, peeled. The roots kind of pop right off, as I just showed you. You can eat them raw on a salad. A lot of people also like to collect these in the spring and pickle them and use them as a condiment. So yeah, just a little foraging tip. Got my little box here. You can see I'm starting to collect some of these violet blossoms. Like I said, I'll make a syrup out of that and maybe use it for a cocktail when we open back up. So thanks for your time. See you soon. So we're back in my kitchen with some of the onions that we gathered. As I mentioned earlier, you can just sort of, the roots right here, you can just kind of sort of pop off real fast. And then we can just line them up. Just cut them off right there. You could even consider them little decorative handles, if you will. So here are the rest of the onions that we had gathered. And we're gonna get, this is a 16-ounce ball jar. Put these guys in here. And what we're gonna do is do a vinegar pickle. So there's really two types of pickles. I think the most common one, especially here in the States, is a vinegar pickle, where you basically have a vinegar brine solution. The other type of pickle would not have any vinegar in it. You're relying purely on microbes, that would be lactobacillus, to ferment the vegetable. So like a Russian, Eastern European pickle is an example. Kimchi, of course, is an example. Those types of vegetable pickles would not have any vinegar in it at all. The acidity would come directly as a result of fermentation. So I've got a couple of, minorly chefy things. It's just like a dry pepper that I had, and some juniper berries and peppercorn. So we put those in there. Don't overcomplicate it too much, because this is going to go in a cocktail, and we don't want to overload the flavors of a cocktail. If you're enjoying a nice gin cocktail, for instance, this is going to be part of a very delicious Gibson, hopefully sometime soon. So this is a basic pickling brine. This one it's all about ratios, but it's 1-to-1 white vinegar to water, and then a little bit of sugar and a little bit of salt, really, to taste. So very easy to just fill that right up. Lid on, and that's really it. I haven't sterilized this jar or anything like that at all. And I've never had the need to really to go through the whole process of like a canning process. So this is very easy. I usually let it sit out for about a day to get the brine working, and then put it in the fridge. So we'll check back on that a little bit later. So we're here a little more than a day later. Here we just have a little plate of salty snacks, some cornichon, truffle gouda, the onions, and oil cured olives, my favorite. And then the main event itself, which is a Gibson classic cocktail version of a martini, my daily drinker of choice, which is Tanqueray, your classic London Dry. And you can see the gin is quite clear, even though it's very cold. And we're going to get into that on a later video about mixing cocktails. So thank you very much. Just a fun project. Great thing for the kids to help out with. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye-bye.